Good evening, ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties. This is Alex coming at you from the underworld, and welcome back to another episode of. So, as I mentioned in my previous video, I'm behind on book reviews a little bit, but of course, Halloween has come and gone, and I do plan to get two more book reviews up for Halloween before November's over. And of course, as many of you know, my mom started a tradition with me when I was a little kid where I would receive a present on Halloween. And it was really cool because she always gave me something that was creepy or scary, and it was just a lot of fun. And that tradition has continued well on into my adulthood. So for that reason, I want to do this little video to brag about the Halloween book haul that was gifted to me by my mom, my grandma, and my husband because we all trade out and give each other little creepy happies. So, first up, I have Rachel Harrison's Cackle. Now, I've never read Harrison before. I am excited to read this book. I love stories about witches. My husband has a copy of this, which is in paperback, but this was gifted to me by my mother. And I honestly don't know what to expect, but it says from the author of The Return, a darkly funny, frightening novel about a young woman meeting a witch who might be too good to be true. All her life, Annie has played it nice and safe after being unceremoniously dumped by her longtime boyfriend. Annie seeks a fresh start. She accepts a new teaching position and moves from Manhattan to a small village upstate. She's stunned by how perfect and picturesque the town is. The people are all friendly and warm. Her new apartment is dreamy, too, aside from the oddly persistent spider infestation. That might freak my husband out because he has arachnophobia, but I'll give him a fair warning because I don't think he's read the synopsis. Then Annie meets Sophie, beautiful, charming, magnetic Sophie who takes a special interest in Annie and wants to be her friend. More importantly, she wants Annie to stop apologizing and start living for herself. That's how she lives. Annie can't help but gravitate toward the self possessed Sophie and starts to spend more and more time with her, despite the fact that the rest of the town folk seem a little afraid of her. And like, okay, there are some things. Sophie's appearance is uncanny and ageless. Her mansion in the middle of the woods feels a little unearthly, and she does seem to wield a certain power. But she couldn't be, could she? All right, so I think that this is gonna definitely be new territory for me. It sounds like this could easily be comfy, cozy horror. I've kind of stuck my toe in that just a little bit, but I'm really excited to read one of her books because I have a couple of hers already. I don't have this one, but I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. Now, my grandma surprised me and got me The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. I am horrible with names. Now, I have been excited to read this book. I have another book by this author that was in a Nightworms package, but this is pretty much the little synopsis here. I'm not going to go too far because I don't want to spoil anything, but it says Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca in this debut supernatural suspense novel set in the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence about a remote house, a sinister haunting, and the woman pulled into their clutches. Okay, so I've made up my mind. I do not want to read anything more of that synopsis because you know what? I absolutely loved Mexican Gothic. I absolutely loved Rebecca. And I do not want to know anything more about this. I just want to go into it as a surprise. I think this is going to be just an absolutely beautiful, creepy book. So I'm very much looking forward to this. So this was something that my husband surprised me with when we went to New Orleans. We were looking around and everything, and this was like the weekend before Halloween, and we had yet to actually start feeling the symptoms of COVID. So we had no idea that we actually had it, but we went with my cousins to this really cool pharmaceutical museum. And when we were down there, he had noticed this book and grabbed it for me, which this is Hauntingly Good Spirits. It's a cocktail book. And what really makes this interesting is it tells you a little bit about each of the drinks, and these are all New Orleans inspired drinks. But you also get like haunted history and information like that in here, which, as you can see, the houses there and buildings, which New Orleans is just absolutely beautiful. But it tells you a little bit about everything. And this is what's going to really come in handy. It has a map in the back with all of the attractions that are spoken about in the book. So that's really cool. And one of the places that we went to while we were down there was the Vampire Cafe. And oh my God, that food was so good. But while we were looking over this, we actually came across one of the cocktails that they served at the Vampire Cafe. And I'm probably not going to find it now because I want to show it off and brag about it. Okay, so I think I found it, but when we were at the Vampire Cafe, I'm going to cover this up, so you have to buy the book. This is the recipe I'm covering up, but I ended up having the Jazzy Vamp, and it was really, really tasty. Also, a fun thing about the Vampire Cafe, like when we went, it was about a good hour and a half wait. But the thing is, it is well worth the wait because the food is so good and the drinks are good. Also, they have like where you can drink out of these little blood bags and stuff. So that was really cool. But the waitress gives you like this little voucher where you go to a different bar and you go to the courtyard and you present the card to a man who is just sitting there, and from there he escorts you into a vampire speakeasy. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and this is totally something that I'm going to try some of the recipes. And I know a lot of the recipes in here are ones that I'm probably going to only enjoy because my husband does not like absinthe, and a lot of these have absinthe in them. But there are some other things that sound really tasty. I was hoping to do a few of these this past Halloween, but of course had COVID. But yeah, that is my Halloween book haul. I can't wait to dive into those. But now that we're at the end of this video, I would like to say thank you to these amazing people for contributing to my Patreon account. As you can tell, some of the names listed here are creators, so be sure to check out their work. And if you would like to contribute to my Patreon account, I have a link available in the description section of this episode, where for $5 a month, I'll give you a shout out at the end of my videos. And if there is a certain profession you would like for me to tie to your name, just let me know and I'll do that. Also, I do have a $10 tier available, where for $10 a month, I'll still give you the shout out as you see here, but I do creepy photography on the side, so at the beginning of every month, I send out one of my creepy photos. From there, you can print it off and do whatever you like with it. So if you're able to do this, that's awesome. If not, no sweat. I just hope you return to this channel so we can continue to have a good time together. Also, if you would like to hunt me down on social media, links to my Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads are all available in the description section of this episode. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, be sure to subscribe and click that notifications bell because I do have more videos coming in the near future. So until we see each other again, I hope you have a great week and sweet nightmares.